In 2010 we put a proposal to Spark for some money to help us find a cave over 1,000 metres deep in New Zealand. And big goal, real big challenge, and we did. We went out there and we achieved those goals. 2011 we applied for some more money to go and find a cave that was deeper, or actually to make the cave that we already found, make that deeper. And what ended up happening is that we found a completely new cave in a new area on the mountain, and the cave is now potentially one of the deepest caves in the world, and it's incredibly exciting. And that was solely because we wanted to find that big, deep, 1,000 metre deep cave. Something that people have been looking for the last 60 years. In the last 2 years, we've come close to finding 2 of them. It's a fact that you can go places nobody else has ever been. You know, you can put your footsteps in a world that no one's ever seen before. You know, you can be the first person to go somewhere. And to me, that's where it's at. You know, that's what really draws us on and on and on, and gets us back to these places that really, you know, when you think of it, are really hard, miserable, wet, cold places. But the fact is, we're the first there. We're the first to explore these places. The environment we're exploring is unbelievable. Before we go there, we've got no idea what's there. No one knows what's there, and we're actually going into the complete and total unknown. And what we're exploring narrow passages, but we're also exploring huge big chambers, massive big areas where you can't see the roof, the walls, and exploring down big rivers we've got to get wetsets on and swim through deep pools and climb down waterfalls. And we're exploring big round tunnels, just big dry round tunnels you just walk for hours and hours and hours through. And we're passing formation that's incredibly rare, beautiful crystal formations we're walking past. Crystal clear water, massive big pools full of boulders. It's just unreal, actually. It's absolutely unreal. It's just incredible that this environment actually exists underground. And the further we get from the entrance, the easier the cave got.
Just a persuader to persuade the cave to get a little bit bigger for us, and just jamming the rocks out, hopefully not fall on our heads.
We decided to run this expedition basically because we wanted to find the deepest cave in New Zealand, and Mount Arthur, that's got our deepest block of marble, block of limestone, and already there's some deep caves on that mountain, but we actually believe we could find caves that are deeper. On our 2010 expedition we linked 2 caves together, and we created a system over 1,000 metres deep. It's the first kilometre deep cave in New Zealand. Created a big stir in the media and internationally as well, because there's a lot of cavers around the world who've been looking in New Zealand for a cave over a kilometre deep, and you know, we're fortunate enough to find that major connection. On our second expedition, the whole concept was to make the cave deeper, to go to the same area and explore uphill and downhill to actually increase the depth of the system. But I kind of got a little bit sidetracked. Before the expedition started, I went off on a bit of a recce around the mountain, because there's lots of other areas that people haven't looked at before, and found a lot of big deep shafts that had potential to go, you know, over a kilometre deep. And we decided to start the expedition in those areas, and they were located on the northwestern side of Mount Arthur in a place called the Anomalate Basin. And we started the expedition there, full of hope that we're going to find big deep caves there. And then before we could move on, a huge storm came in, massive storm came in that basically trapped us on the mountain, completely destroyed our camp. In fact, it destroyed our morale as well. We're pretty gutted that we've been hammered by this huge storm. Our camp was destroyed, everything was destroyed, soaking wet, cold, miserable. We had to bail off the mountain because of this big storm.
We're a pretty damn big storm, eh? It's pretty wild. You hear these gusts coming, and here comes one now. You hear them coming, like freight trains coming down the mountain. Just hear them roaring down the mountain. It feels like the ground's almost shaking. And they hit the teeth, and the teeth just gets flattened. Oh, here we go.
Back here goes a bolt.
Well, there you go, there's one big one.
So we've got gale force winds rocking the tent and flattening it. It's now pissing down. It's not just pissing down outside, it's pissing down in the tent as well. It's just coming through the roof.
What's on top of us, that there, believe it or not, is the bottom of the tent. So that last really big gust, the whole tent flipped right over on top of us. We're very lucky we didn't get actually blown away.
Well, we've decided to bail to a little cave. This is just getting a bit dangerous. Too much wind. We're getting rolled over actually by the wind. Yeah, it's pretty scary actually.
at least in the cave it might be a bit uncomfortable, at least we dry more. So yeah, we're going to get out of here.
During the big storm, we still went caving, and we did find a cave that started going down very deep, and we called this cave Stillbe Pot. And Stillbe Pot, incredibly difficult cave, really hard, it's tight and miserable actually. Now I'd class it as an incredibly miserable cave. We managed to, during the storm, we managed to push it down to minus 200 metres and got to the top of a massive big shaft, and the interesting thing about the cave, even though it was very tight, it had lots and lots of wind blowing into it, and that's a good sign, very good sign. Also, it was in an area that no one ever looked in before. So for us, we'd found a deep cave and it was still going down, and we wanted to keep pushing that cave, so I decided to stay where we were instead of move and explore our first cave the first big deep cave we found, the Ellis Basin. We decided not to go there and stay where we were. The storm kind of abated and better weather came in, and we started pushing Stillbe Pot really hard. And when we got down to minus 400 metres, we came out of these narrow, tight, miserable, really absolutely miserable, narrow passages, and walked into a big streamway. It's 5 metres wide, 5 to 10 metres high, and really it was a dream that we'd always been looking for something like this. Cavers for 50 years been looking for this big streamway underneath this, inside this mountain, and we found it, and it was incredibly exciting. We'd come out of these narrow passages, we were forcing our bodies through these narrow cracks and having to contort our bodies up and down these horrible climbs, and suddenly we were strolling down this big streamway. It's awesome. And away we went, off exploring down this big streamway. Lots of wind going down the passage, lots of water, and the cave just went on and on and on. Yeah, it was amazing. I still can't believe that we're there. You look at photographs and go, we really found that. And unfortunately we had to go back out to Stillbe Pot, and to think of time-wise, to descend 400 metres down through the cave would take us 4 or 5 hours. It takes about 4 or 5 hours to get out. That's just going in and out without any exploration, so it was a really difficult cave. But luckily, we found an easy way in, or easier. Neil and Heidi were wandering around the top of the mountain, or around the landscape above the cave that we'd found, and they found another big shaft series. And it's really easy, big open, airy, big shafts. There was no squeezes, it was really pleasant. And that explored down to about minus 170 metres, and we decided to push that really hard because it was located right over top of the streamway we'd found, and it looked like it could be an easy way in. And Troy and I pushed that really hard, took lots and lots of rope in there, and after 2 trips we connected into the Stillbe Pot streamway. Really exciting because it was an easy way in. Instead of 4 or 5 hours to get down, it takes an hour and a half, 2 hours. So yeah, it's an easy way in for us. Quite a long way down, still 400 metres to get down there, but it was a much easier way into the cave system. And the cave just went on, off we went, down the streamway. It was phenomenal. We were sitting down there and we suddenly realised that it was just us, and no one in the whole world knew where we were. And that to me was amazing. Initially we thought, oh, that's really dangerous, but really I suppose that was incredible. And to have that small, tight, close bunch of people, bunch of guys, exploring a cave like that and coming up with that result, yeah, totally amazing, very proud. Well, Stillbe Pot system, 14 kilometres long and 700 metres deep, and it's very close to the Nettlebed system. In fact, it's less than 100 metres from it. Stillbe Pot's going down through the mountain, Nettlebed comes up through the mountain, and they're the same cave. The water goes from Stillbe Pot into Nettlebed. 100 metres apart, if we can get through that 100 metres, we're going to have a cave 1,200 metres deep, and it will be the 2nd or 3rd deepest through trip in the world. That's from top entrance and coming out the bottom, which is incredibly exciting. Probably one of the longest through trips you can do in the world, and it'll take 3 days. The round trip from car to car will be 3 days, and 1,200 metres of abseiling. I think quite an incredible sort of a move by Spark is putting this money up in the Hillary Expedition Fund for anyone to apply for to run expeditions. Getting the funding from Spark's now Sport New Zealand, was unprecedented for New Zealand caving. In the past, New Zealand caving hasn't had much support at all from anybody. We've just got to beavered away on our own and done our own thing and kind of kept away from the public eye quite a lot. But really, what cavers do in New Zealand is incredible. It's, you know, these aren't sportsmen, they're explorers, and they should all be proud of what they're doing. You know, all these people are, in their weekends and their days off, they've invested years and years of their lives exploring parts of New Zealand that we never knew existed before. It's not just us, we're part of it, but there's lots of other people, and and that's actually creating, and us getting that funding from Spark is that's created this incredible buzz for people suddenly become incredibly proud of what they're doing and recognising the fact that what they're doing is something pretty special. And thanks to Spark and Sport New Zealand for giving us the opportunity to have gone to these incredible places and found these incredible things and really put New Zealand caving on the international map as a place that there's some really, really serious caving happening.